I'm continuing from my last video. Basically, when I got home, I did file for unemployment. Also made a file for VA compensation and Social Security disability. I was denied Social Security disability right away, and I was also denied VA disability compensation right away. They said I was not eligible because I had a other than honorable discharge. Once I wrote a rebuttal to their letter, I was finally able to get seen by the VA doctors in November of 2008, just a few months after, or a couple months or so after I got back. Um, I went to C&P exams in December of 2008. Um, then I was finally granted VA compensation. Um, I'm 90% VA disabled. I also have um, unemployability, and I also have special compensation, and I'm also considered housebound because of my multiple sclerosis. I filed again for my Social Security disability. I was awarded my Social Security disability in December of 2009. Um, Basically, I have full disability through VA and Social Security. Um, when I was injured in Iraq with the IED blast, I sustained a traumatic brain injury. I've also filed 2 times to get my Purple Heart. I'm working with a Congressman, Jeff Davis, here in my home state of Kentucky. He's working with the Department of the Army, actually Secretary of the Army right now, trying to get my Purple Heart. I'm also filed with him to get my discharge changed because I don't believe that I should have ever been discharged the way I was discharged. I should have had a medical discharge, even though I wasn't fully diagnosed with multiple sclerosis at the time. I did have the symptoms of multiple sclerosis, and I did have a diagnosis of optic nerve neuritis, which the VA has re-diagnosed since my discharge. Um, I'm just basically trying to get the justice that I need. I know there's other soldiers out there, and not just soldiers, other service members of other services, to include Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, Coast Guards, that have actually been discharged erroneously. You know, I did go to a discharge review board, which was manned by 4 lieutenant colonels, male lieutenant colonels, and a female lieutenant colonel, which was a complete joke. All they did was re-say what the Army had already done was okay, which I don't believe is right. I wasn't able to really fully tell my story and have them even notice. I didn't even notice them accepting what I was saying. I just felt like I was just talking to a wall. I do feel that, you know, like I said before, that there are other soldiers out there that are having the same problems, or other service members. I just think that we should all band together with an organization called the IAVA. I've been a member with them ever since I got back from Iraq, and they're a pretty good organization. There's other organizations out there that can help, but I feel that, you know, exposure, you know, and finding other veterans that are going through the same things that I'm going through, it's just not something that can be brushed under the carpet or under the rug. It's something that, you know, we need national coverage of, and have people, you know, actually stand up for us and say something about it. Um, the hospital scandal and Walter Reed took a congressman, or I believe a or representative or something, to come under fire from, and it became a national disgrace. I think the way some of the soldiers and other service members are getting discharged during a time of war is outrageous. I feel that, you know, in my case and other people's cases that I've heard people talk about, the Army just thinks they can do whatever they want and nobody's going to say anything. This is the time that people need to stand up and do something about it. You know, it's almost like the war in Afghanistan right now is almost forgotten. It's like another Korean War. There's people over there dying just as many or more than what's died in Iraq now on a daily basis or a weekly basis. And I think that, we need the exposure and we need people back here to understand that things like this happen and we're not all a bunch of crackpots. You know, I've had people tell me that, it's outrageous. They don't believe me. I've got the paperwork. I've got all the documentation. I joined the Army. I was 34, almost 35 when I joined the Army. I did it all out of, having medical and dental and benefits and stuff that I didn't have in civilian life for my wife and 3 kids. And all I wanted to do, was support them the best way I can and also serve the country at the same time. Because I felt like there's a lot of people out there that love the freedom that United States give us, or we get when we're born, but they don't want to give back. And I believe that there's a lot of people out there that don't have the guts to join the military, and do their part. Like I said before, I was 34, almost 35 when I joined, and I feel that, I did a service to the country, and the country, deserves a lot more from the military, telling them the truth and not treating their soldiers the way they do or the service members the way they do. Well, I will leave my contact information on here. My email is dodgecharger1970 at the letter Y mail.com. I do have an alternate email of watsongenerallee at netzero.net. I'm not going to put my phone number on here because I don't want a bunch of crackpots calling me up. But if you want to contact me, go ahead and contact me with either one of those email addresses. And maybe we can get some exposure just for myself and other service members that are going through the same thing. Thank you.